noche canto por ti. Tú no respondes, luna te perdí por otra.
Here is a sight you may never see again. 2 GTAm replica kits side by side. This video is 6 months in the making, and we're super excited to show you both kits today. In-depth review of the Koshi kit, which is your most expensive GTAm kit on the market, and our China kit on the right. This is the cheapest entry-level GTAm replica kit you can get on the market as of right now. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ricky. We've been building this GTAm replica for the last 8 months. And this on this side is Kells on wheels. Been talking to Kelly for the last 6 months, waiting for them to build this in the background. Their very first episode drops today. Go down in the description and go show them support. They're gonna go through the full process of building a fully Koshi GTAm replica kit. And we're very excited for the community, Alpha community, to have something like this on YouTube.
For the non-Alpha fans, let me give you a quick rundown on the GTAm. Alfa Romeo created this $288,000 piece of art and limited it to 500 units. To put the cherry on top, they never imported it to the US, so we have 0 chances of purchasing the car, even if we could. So Alpha enthusiasts resort to doing conversions. The cheapest option is the one we put together on our 2.0. The most expensive and accurate kit is the Koshi kit. There are only a few conversions in the States, and this is a rare opportunity to see them side by side.
The purpose of this video isn't to say that our Chinese kit or the Koshi kit is better than the other. When we started this build 8 months ago, I know we got a lot of negative feedback saying that the China kit was never going to mount to the Koshi kit, and we never had any intention to do so. What we really wanted this video to showcase is the similarities between the two kits, and you can still get an effective job done at the $6,000 price point. But when you pay the extra money, we want to show you what you actually get, not just the build quality, but the extra attention to detail, which we really saw when we saw them side by side. There's not a lot of GTAm replicas, even at the cheapest form, and you're not going to find any videos of them side by side doing a price breakdown, showing you the intricate details between the two. It was eye-opening for us, and hopefully it is for you guys as well. The Chinese parts are carbon laid down with epoxy, and the bottom half is fiberglass, which is obviously a little bit of a different build quality than the Koshi, which is like a pre-preg carbon, all carbon fiber, more durable. That's what's really gonna be the difference in your cost breakdowns. So starting off with the hood, just obviously they're very different. Even on camera, they're very different. This is a very large weave pattern, very close to OEM spec. This is what you would assume you'd get from China. A little bit closer together, a little bit more reflective. And just side by side, these vents are a lot wider than the Koshi kit. There is this divot on the Koshi kit that sits a little bit higher that our kit from China just never got. But they do look very similar in aesthetic wise. You can look at the fitment from the fenders to the hood. The fender gap is pretty good. You can't complain too much from a Chinese kit. And it looks very different on the Koshi. Those lines are a lot tighter, if you can tell. Really in the front bumpers where you can see how tight it gets. This hood costs about $19.50. That hood costs about $4,000. So it's almost double the price for the Koshi hood. Again, aesthetically they look the same, but this is also carbon fiber with fiberglass that is full carbon fiber. One of the main differences that you're going to see between the two kits is clearly this one is extended 50 millimeters. This one follows stock body lines, meaning it's not extended 50 millimeters. In order to run this kit, you need to run the fenders, the front bumper, and the essential kit, which is going to run you north of close to $8,000. The front bumper alone is up close to $3,000, plus the essential kit is another $2,000-3,000, plus that is another $2,000-3,000, all in exposed. You're looking at a pretty penny to run just the front bumper and the fenders together from the Koshi website. If you look at our kit can run stock panels. So you can run this with stock fenders, you can run these with aftermarket fenders, you can run these with a stock bumper, aftermarket bumper. Everything fits stock paneling. I mean, you don't have to buy everything in one swoop. You can buy it in pieces if you want to, which is probably one of the benefits to buying one of these replica kits versus one of these expensive Koshi kits. I'm gonna interrupt you guys' video real quick to let you guys know that Kelly from Kells on Wheels is giving away her old QV spoiler, her OEM QV spoiler, to one of you guys. All you have to do is go to her video when it drops, which should be dropped right now, go comment anything, and after 48 hours, she's gonna give this spoiler away to one of you guys. You can use it if you already have a QV, you can use it as wall decoration, or if you're a 2.0 owner, you can get a really, really nice piece for free. All you have to do is just go comment on her video, be subscribed to my channel, be subscribed to Kells on Wheels, and you're automatically entered to win that for free. And again, if this is your first time here on my channel, we give a ton of stuff away for free. We've given shifters away, race mode away, tunes away, you name it, we've probably given it away. So make sure you're subscribed and watch our future videos, because you never know what we're giving away next. There is going to be a difference in the headlights. These are the older 2017 through 23 headlights. These are the 2024 plus headlights that I have retrofitted on my Giulia. And we're going to talk about the front fascia for a second. Clearly, like I said, this extends 50 millimeters. It goes into the fenders, it extends 50 millimeters. This does not. So it may look a little off as far as portion. This kind of sits out and kind of cuts deep. This one kind of cuts out and cuts back in because it doesn't need the space like this does. This kit is made for 2.0 owners. This kit is made to go onto a quadrifoglio, meaning the quadrifoglio has active aero. With this kit, that active aero is still present. Mine is not active aero and actually is mended into the bumper and it acts as a bottom tray, which is really nice. In my opinion, this kit works really, really well for 2.0 owners. This kit works really, really well if you have the money for a QV, as close to GTAm spec as possible. To my understanding, Koshi actually had a GTAm that they pretty much molded these parts off of, so you're gonna get as close to OEM spec of a GTAm as possible with this kit right here. Hence the huge price tag that they have. Again, you guys can see really there's going to be a difference right here. This has pretty much induction for their coolers. We don't have that same induction. We have the same aesthetic, but there's no functionality that goes to those coolers back there. It's just kind of like an open hole. You can still see the mesh, versus the mesh is kind of cut out and kind of sits back in. That is really for, again, the cooling aspect of it. Everything inside on the internal aspect is also carbon as well, that you can't see from the outside. Because it does extend 50 millimeters, this carbon blade is a lot longer than my carbon blade. It's a little bit more snout, if you will. You can clearly see the vents on each car. This vent is sits up pretty high, pretty deep, pretty wide, versus mine is pretty narrow. It doesn't sit up as high, just kind of fits more of the OEM bumper, if you will. Here's really where the price difference breaks down, because this is all reinforced, really well-made carbon. This is not going anywhere, versus this is a fiberglass front bumper with carbon accents. This is real carbon. If you wanted to, you could run this on a QV car, but you would have to cut out this bottom lip to make it work, and there's some adjustments you have to make, versus this kit comes ready to go from the factory. They just bolted this straight on, no adjustments needed, and it fit like a glove. Versus our kit, if you guys have been watching the channel, you guys know that we had to take it to a body shop. We had to do a lot of fitment adjustments, and just getting things to work just in general was a little bit of a pain, but we made it work. Both cars are very, very beautiful examples of just hard work in general. I think this is a very cool kit. It's still in the aspects of kits. $6,000 is not a shy amount of money. It's still a good amount of money. You still get a really, really great product. For the $35,000 price points, clearly there's going to be some major differences in the quality, the fitment. Again, 1-to-1 aspect ratios versus something like this was more so built off of OEM body panels, meaning this was molded off of a regular 2.0 bumper. The fenders or QV fenders. So these are molded off OEM panels versus real GTAm panels, which is really where you're going to come down to the price differences between the two. And again, one of the main things that you'll see is the 50mm difference in the fenders. These are the aftermarket GTAm replica fenders, so they still fit stock body lines, and it has an exaggerated vent more than the QV. But obviously it doesn't extend the way that the GTAm does. This is extended the full 50mm, and as you can see, it has this little divot that comes out, and it obviously fills the body lines. The door gapping, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, is not so bad on this replica kit. Again, these were still made off of OEM panels, but the gapping is definitely a lot better on this GTAm kit. Under the front headlight, this kind of extends and the whole front bumper kind of pushes forward, versus this really sits underneath the bumper and it doesn't protrude as much. When you come out here, here's where you'll see the major difference. Again, extends outside the headlight. Mine sits flush to the headlight, so it doesn't extend at all. And this is the one that kind of extends. My vents are a little bit more narrow, versus this is full functioning aero and a huge vent, which looks kind of wild on camera. Definitely want to show the fitment on the kit from the fender. Fitment on the kit on the fender. Fitment on my kit from the fender. It's a little uppity up, but overall pretty decent. Fender. Fender to fender. Again, this extends to match the front end. This extends 50mm in the rear. This little vent here on the side. A really pretty piece. And I think adds to the aesthetics of the full wide body GTAm. This is technically a wide body kit. They actually had to cut the fenders to make this work. On my car, because it is a 2.0, I wanted to keep it more stock body line, so this does not extend the 50mm, and that's kind of the whole intent with this car, was to keep it more to the 2.0 stock body lines versus trying to go too much. This is obviously 500 horsepower versus 320 with the tune. Definitely two different variations. You need the width and the tire grip on something with that much power. You just don't need that much with the 2.0. You can see the wheel choice as well. These are custom wheels meant for this car. Pretty nice offset. I think they're 10.5, still with the spacer. These are OEM Stelvio wheels with they're no spacer, but I could definitely use better fitment. But these are OEM Stelvio 20-inch by 8.5 or 9.5. I can't remember. In the sunlight, you can see the side skirts a little bit better. These are obviously the GTAm replica side skirts. They kind of have a little fin in the rear that you guys can kind of see. Mine, on the other hand, are OEM QV side skirts. They don't kind of flip up in the rear, but they are OEM parts. The biggest difference in the rear is this stays more with like the QV rear diffuser. This is the one that Koshi offers. This is full carbon. And then obviously Madness offers this exhaust. This is a valved exhaust. Mine goes more to the GTAm spec, if you will. It's a center exit exhaust with a QV bumper. Except for this is made for 2.0s, meaning it doesn't extend all the way to match up with the underneath, the under panel aero. Mine kind of cuts off right where a 2.0 should cut off. Our choice in wings is again much different. We have Alfissimo's racing spoiler, so this is pretty much a replica of the racing spoiler from Alfa Romeo that Alfissimo sells on their website. I wasn't too much of a fan of the big wing because we didn't go wide body, didn't really make sense. Again, this is Koshi's GTAm style wing. It's a nice, pretty big, kind of reminds me of like a Subaru STI wing. And again, I went with something a little bit more low profile and low key on mine. For those of you who aren't, again, familiar with Alfa Romeo, there's not that many GTAm replicas out here in the States. I would say there's maybe a handful. We're probably the first one to do it on a 2.0 on YouTube. And again, to see them side by side, one of the most expensive GTAm kits and one of the cheapest GTAm kits, it's a very rare opportunity to see them both together to kind of get a very close in-depth review of the fitment and how they kind of sit together. The rarity of you seeing one of these again, probably pretty rare. The rarity of seeing them two again, you may have better luck winning the lotto. If you fell in love with the Koshi kit and you wanted to buy the entire thing or just pieces, you can go to Madness Autoworks and buy everything that you saw in this video today. If you fell in love with the China replica kit, you can buy every single piece that you saw on my car from my website, moddedwear.com. If you see something that is not on the website that you really want to order, you can email us directly and we can build you a custom order. Biggest mysteries about these kits was what was the final price point. And I know we didn't get too far into the specifics. If you try to buy from Koshi, you know, there's obviously still shipping that you have to calculate. And if you go to Madness, they say, hit us up for a custom order. Kelly was from Kells on Wheels was very gracious enough to show us her final bill. For the entire kit, it's $35,000 delivered. And if you guys know, when we unbox our kit, we're very transparent with our costs. Our cost was like $5,900, close to $6,000. So there's roughly about a $29,000 price difference between the two. This video is not a comparison as far as like which one is a better deal. One of them is specifically meant to go onto a QV. It's a full replica, and one of them is more for aesthetics. Obviously there's gonna be some huge differences between the two, and hopefully I was able to convey that through the camera. I am not a videographer by any means. Hopefully I was able to convey through the camera kind of the intricate details that you'll see through the two kits that you weren't maybe able to see through pictures. Hopefully on video it captures it a little bit better. I tried my best to capture it, but again, I've learned everything off of my own YouTube tutorials, so I'm maybe not the best videographer out there, but I definitely did my best with the equipment and skill set that I had. In all transparency, this actually took us 2 trips to Austin. We live in Dallas. I drove over there the first time and I didn't take my Giulia because it was raining and I didn't want to risk it and driving it in the rain. We did the whole entire video and I hated the way that they came up. I'm actually going to put the footage up on the screen because if I don't put it up now, you guys will never see it. But I did a whole video and a whole shoot. I just didn't like the way they came out, so I booked going back down there another day with my Giulia, and we redid the entire video. So this was maybe, what, 14 hours round trip, and a lot of time spent. So really shout out to Kelly and Luis. You guys don't know who Kelly is with Kells on Wheels. Kelly and her husband have amassed like a 2.8 million following on TikTok, and they're actually pretty well known, and they're jumping into the automotive space. And I think they're gonna bring a new cool dynamic to Alfa content, and I've heard they have some pretty crazy plans, so definitely go ahead and check them out. But this is where we're gonna end today's video. Hopefully you guys thoroughly enjoyed the content. Again, let me know down in the description what you guys think of this video. What do you think of the 2 kits? Give me your honest feedback. I'm willing to take it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Welcome back to another very... I look busted. Good?
There, yeah.
Welcome back to another very exciting episode of Modded Motors. Today, if you guys can see behind us, we have a very special car. This is a replica GTAm kit from Koshi. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Ricky, this is Krista. We have been building our own GTAm kit, the affordable edition. That one is about $6,000. This kit shipped to your door is about $35,000.